morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Morning Grind. Fondo, we are out on course already, actually. Riders are jumping out here. I want to chat a little bit as they do get going into the initial kicks here. We're going to be following along with the A race. We've got one feed out here today, and we are getting a little festive here, as you can see with the hat, with the cycling. And it's also been charity month, so we're doing some World Bicycle Relief here for our Get Up. Charity month is over, but we just had the charity month and the charity rides week and all that stuff, and I don't want to push those buttons, but it's been 5 a.m. and the current series leader out on course right now in this series is going to be Greg Leo. Now, I actually didn't check and see if he's in the race, but I believe he's going to be showing up. We'll have to wait and see if I'm right about that. We'll have to see if the sign-ups of contention, it looks like, maybe for the rest of the season. We'll have to wait and see, as Kim Little has been injured over the weekend. We'll have to get a story from him. Perhaps I can get Kim actually to jump into the broadcast. I'm actually going to throw him a quick little link and see if we can get him to jump in here. It'd be kind of fun to have Kim to come and chat with us and tell us all about what is going on with his injury, as well as what his plans were and all of his failed hope in the races he was in there. I thought maybe he'd be racing, but I did hear there was an ACL issue, so there's also no Greg today, I'm being told by Kim right now. So it also looks like there's a couple other riders actually out there racing, which is really cool to see, that are streaming right now. So if you haven't checked out Zwift over on some of the streaming platforms, Facebook, Twitch, Mixer, etc., you might actually find, which is like a 3.5 to 4 minute climb, full on VO2 max every single time they go through. That is always the section out on course that they tend to make the attacks. So super exciting to see this course. Old school racing out on Zwift, one of the oldest courses that we've used besides Watopia Forward, which used to be the only race course. The original race course, all of our broadcasts actually were on way back in the day, 2015, when we were doing these back in the summer of 2015. Pretty cool. Looks like Kim is going to be able to join us, so I'm going to do some setup here. It'll be fun to have a little bit of an interview with him. Kim is not Greg, though, so we're going to have to change up some of the broadcast stuff that we do have set up here, but it'll be good to have Kim jump in with us, chat a little bit about what's been going on with the weekend. As we did hear, there was definitely some injury that took place, and sad to hear, but we'll hear all about it as he does jump in here with us. So the Grind Fondo is what we're up to. Let's go ahead and talk about the other series leaders. Now, no Greg here today, no Kim Little here today, so that means that there's been spots opening up here at the top here. Lionel Vijasin, I always get it wrong, and he's trying to correct me all the time, but Lionel is in here, I believe. I did see him, I think, lining up here. There he is, and I do believe he was also at a Zwift event recently, but he's got some points opening up for him here. 240 currently, 2/3 it looks like, and a couple off the podiums there, so it looks like he may be able to take over the top spot from Kim Little today if he does grab a win or less. I mean, even all the way through 10th place, he can still catch up because he's at 240. Kim Little's at 276, and with the injury, perhaps Kim will no longer be able to be involved in much of the racing at all, actually. But Matt Cubo also going to be able to benefit. Leandro Messinillo, there were 3 races, and a second and a third is going to benefit there as well. Gavin Hughes, Matt Brandt, 7th place overall. Greg Lisa, as well as Robert Lyons. So that is your current situation for the overall series for the A racers. We'll go ahead and throw our results for that in here, as well as the results for the end of the race once we get there in just a moment, so you guys can see exactly what the situation is currently for the series. Actually, we'll be able to do this right about now, actually. Here's everything that we are talking about. For your top, I'd say 10 to 15, 17 places or so in the series right now, coming in from ZwiftPower.com. So here's your current series situation. Now, Greg Leo has not shown up on the day. Kim Little obviously out with injury. Lionel there sitting in third, 240 there. Matt Curbo, Leandro there, as you can see, 188. So big gaps to make up there. Some of those with 4s. You can see the 4 for Greg Lisa, Matt Brandt, and Gavin Hughes. might be able to get some advantage here with a couple of the big hitters no longer in the running here. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at what's happening with the race, though, here as they're about to head into the main climb. The first time up and over the top. Vijayasinghe here is Greg Lisa. We got Mohan up toward Mohar there up toward the front coming out of Australia, leading things out. Up and out of the saddle here, Vijayasinghe already starting to make a little bit of a kick here as they go past the running path now. And it looks like he is going, Lionel is definitely going to be trying to position himself well, not going to be doing any fade climbing, going to be on the attack, it looks like, well positioned. Jeffrey Creel is up in here, though. It looks like Jeffrey Creel, one to watch out for anytime that he is racing, coming out of Australia, has been a part of some of the CVR World Cups, and I'd be watching out for him for a W out there today as far as the favorites go. Looking forward here, Ryan Lyons from ODZ, as you can see, always one who's in the mix as well. Good to see him. Now, we do have social media integration. I do see a lot of your comments coming on through. We're going to be paying a lot of attention to that. We also got YouTube as well. Great commentary. Good to see you there, George. Great. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If it's your first time tuning in to the broadcast, I appreciate you being here. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit the follow button at all places for Zwift Community Live. We're live over on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitch. And you can hit up those places to get live notifications. Make sure you hit that get notifications button, and you'll know anytime that we do end up going live here. We are seeing from Steven, though, here. He's saying Zwift Hospital Rehab here. Me insured, too. Sorry to hear that, Steven. Steven's also saying that he loves the course. One of the best ones out there. Justin won a Wahoo kicker yesterday for his girlfriend. Yeah, I saw Jesper posting about that. That's why Jesper's not here with us right now, as Lionel and him were hanging out at that awesome event. It looks like he absolutely killed it as he was able to take down that W. So Kim Little is joining us. Let me see if I can grab a mic here. Now he's, oh my goodness, he's even got. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna mess with your audio just a tad here. Make sure that your audio source is correct, but maybe bring it just a little bit closer if you can. But Kim, I see you're in the pain cave there. Good to see you, Kim. Now, what is going on with your arm? What is happening here, Kim?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit embarrassing. I was at an event at the weekend, a duathlon, so it's a run, bike, and run event. I did the first run fine. I did the first bike fine. Into the last run. It's a trail run, so it's slippery underfoot, and I just kind of like went over in a somersault, landed arm out, and yeah, so nothing broken. I've had an X-ray, nothing broken, but I've got it's kind of like a severe, like a strain or a tear in the. I can't remember what it's called, but like like a pulled shoulder.
Shoulder, scapula, or something like that.
Yeah, like that's the one. Yeah, something like that. So just some rest, nothing major damage.
So it's just the shoulder, though. Yeah, just the shoulder. Nothing.
Yeah, just the shoulder. Yeah.
Okay, good. I heard that there was a, I heard that it was a ACL from Simon Richardson yesterday.
No. I think it's
that's like season ending. I was like, no way.
Yeah. No, nothing too bad. I think they might call it an AC joint on the shoulder. I think that's what it's called. So it's yeah.
So it looks like you're
nothing too bad, but yeah. I'm trying. Yeah, this is the first time on, so I'm just spinning the legs out. That feels good as long as I don't move the arm too much.
Look at this pain cave here. Look at this, you guys. This is pretty awesome setup here. He's got TVs, all kinds of stuff. Look at all the wheels.
The treadmill.
Don't tell anybody the location of this place. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. But,
yeah, it's a little gold mine.
Messiano is saying, as well as Steven there as well. You know, there's a lot of people saying, do you think you're going to be back racing within like a week? I mean, I think you'll be able to finish the series.
No, I don't think so. Maybe I think I'm going to maybe take a couple of weeks off, minimum like 2, and then see. So I'll do a few more races, but maybe the overall title's out the window. But I'll be back stronger than ever for January, I hope.
Right on. Well, before if you want to hang out and do commentary with us here, or just some back and forth a little bit, that'd be kind of fun. But I wanted to ask you, you race with these guys day in and day out. First of all, yesterday's race, that was pretty intense, the GCN race, and you were going to actually be at that before this injury happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was just the worst timing. I was super excited about joining these guys in because it's quite local to me, the GCN office. It's just up the road, so I was going to jump in and be with Simon and do some commentary and chat back and forth. But hopefully, you get to do it again sometime. It would have been really cool.
Yeah, right on, right on. So, and then I think there was, I mean, there's been quite a lot of racing for you lately. Like, what was your plans before this injury as far as the racing this winter goes? I mean, you've been participating in SER, I believe. You've been participating in the draft series. You know, a lot of KISS races. Are there any other series that you were aiming at that might have a little disruption, or not so much?
Yeah, I had no major goals. I mean, maybe I was just joining a few too many. I get a bit overexcited. I see them flash up and think I better join in that one as well. I was really enjoying this one. This has been my favourite one so far. All the big hitters come out to play. I'm quite excited about the new KISS series as well. So now that's been announced. Looking forward to hearing some more information on that. Super League, yeah. Super League.
Yeah,
that's gonna be good.
Just so everybody knows, it's the sequel to the Infinity Wars movie. That's actually what's taking place there. It's a new Marvel movie that's releasing out on Swift, just so everybody knows. But
yeah.
I am seeing Kim's got Stefan's got a great comment here. I think only you two might be involved in this, but let's do a one-arm only series, is what he's saying. So
yeah, game on.
What is the favorites out here today? You know, when you line up for this race or any series and you see who's in this race here today, I would think Lionel, I would think Messineo, especially on this course. I would favor maybe Leandro on this course, or am I incorrect about that?
Yeah, I think Leandro is going to be the guy on this course today. I always like to see my man Matt Gardner do well, but he's often working for someone else. But I think his other teammates are maybe out of action today. Gravdal is always he's a tough guy to beat.
He got picked up by Draft recently, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's racing for Draft now, so he's going to be one to watch for sure. Gavin Hughes, TT1, tough rider. He's maybe lacks a little bit in the sprint at the end, but if you give him a few seconds, he can get away. So you need to watch out for Gav. Who else have we got here?
There he is, coming out of Ireland there. Okay, Gavin Hughes, watch out.
Yeah.
Now, Team Type 1, they've actually, it seems like, have been stacking their team a little bit lately, where in the past I felt like they were a team that was racing a little bit more in the B and the C category, and lately they've kind of been showing up toward the front end of these races, it seems like.
Yeah, they've got a good squad going. Gavin's seems to be a strong TT guy, so you stick him on the front and he can just pull all day. So he's certainly a good ally to have, and he occasionally messages me in game and say he'll leave me out for the sprint. So he's a great guy, willing to work with other teams, which is really nice. I see you got Jeff Creel in there, so South African national champ. He's always a force to be reckoned with as well. You don't want to let him get away in a group.
Yeah, definitely. That's and then Lindsay is in there as well. I mean,
I just spotted Lindsay. So
yeah, this is
he was at the front of the GCN race yesterday.
Yeah,
yeah.
That race was crazy yesterday. Zimmerman it was the same time. Him and Apers had literally the same time. I think it was less than 1/100th of a second, actually, the difference, and it didn't show up on Zwift Power. It was 0 on Zwift Power because it only goes out to 1/100th of a second. Absolutely crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, he's got a great sprint. His watts per kilogram are just off the chart, being like 56 kilograms. It's just insane. He doesn't need to put out crazy watts to get that watts per kilogram up, but yeah, when he gets that sprint wound up, he's hard to come by for sure.
Now, do you think that there's a reality of in Zwift racing as far as lighter riders then just having a little bit more of an advantage because it responds so much to watts per kilogram? Or do you really think there's all these arguments about raw wattage versus the watts per kilogram, Kim? From a racer's perspective, do you feel like the lighter riders gain an advantage, or is it really dependent on the course? I mean, you do have courses like this where we say Leandro is so light, he's probably going to be favored on the longer climb, 4-minute climb or so. Obviously, he's going to be benefit, or a mountain climb or something like that. But even in the sprints, it seems like lighter guys, if they get the watts per kilogram up high enough, the pure wattage guys, even like Steve Young, he he needs to really ramp it up for a long period of time compared to the sharp punch of a lighter guy with the high watts per kilogram. I feel like Zwift responds very quickly to high watts per kilogram, whereas and gets that speed up really high in a short period of time, whereas somebody who's going for more of a raw wattage sprint has to do more of a Cipollini type sprint or something.
Yeah, but I think also it's changed slightly with the double draft, I found. So before the double draft, like the guys like Steve Young could go a little bit earlier, maybe like start their sprint at 400 meters and wind it up a little bit, and then they could kind of like slingshot past just before the finish, which Steve's done to like quite a few of us a few times. It seems to be with the double drafting effect now, you can maybe leave that sprint a little bit later, more like 200 meters, 250, and then the lighter guys do seem to have an advantage in those races. So yeah, maybe a bit more experimentation with when to launch a sprint, depending on what kind of race it is.
Yeah, gotcha. So it's changed things up majorly here. Now, this does not have double draft involved, though. I don't believe this race. This race, I do not believe is using it. Now, I am seeing Steven bringing through. Here's this is a nice pic. I saw this over on Twitter here now, and he says, "I will be back." It looks like he's got a broken arm there, actually. I wonder if he just took that, actually, if they're watching in the elevator while we're hanging out here in the broadcast. Lighter guys for sure are superior in acceleration. We're hearing from Mikhail Wozniak here, he believes, as well. So we are getting some opinions there. Actually, maybe we should make a poll. Do people think that the lighter guys have a better acceleration in the sprint? I'd like to know, or if they think just the raw wattage is really where it's at. Kim seems to think that the lighter guys get a little bit of advantage, especially with where the double draft is at. If I'm not incorrect about that, Kim.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling just currently from just experimenting with the different kinds of races. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what others think. But I don't seem to remember Zimmerman having the best sprints beforehand, but he's certainly kind of changed that up recently. And when he gets that sprint round up, he's pretty hard to come by when he's doing 15, 16 watts per kilogram for sure.
Yeah. Also, the courses lately though have been benefiting that. A lot of uphill finishes on the New York course. Now, yesterday though on that course that we saw with the GCN race was a downhill finish though, like slightly downhill finish, and he was still able to pull it off, coming by through the pack actually. What's your opinion on double draft? We're about to hit up the climb here. We'll get into a little bit of action with the commentary, but a lot of opinions out there about double draft. I tend to like it personally, but recently with the larger races, it seems to really calm things down a lot more than I was expecting, actually. And maybe the races I got involved with just didn't have as many big hitters. Yeah,
I'm kind of on the fence a little bit. I'm a bit undecided, need to ride it a bit more, but I agree. It's different depending on the type of course. On that race, that GCN race last night, it did seem to keep a big pack together, which is no bad thing. It's kind of like lifelike, but then maybe take some of the excitement out of it for some of the spectators. But yeah, I'm willing to experiment with it, and maybe some tweaks here and there will make it just as exciting as the racing has been beforehand.
Yeah, I hear there is a lot of feedback about if we slow down the pack, perhaps then double draft will be that much better, actually. So,
I agree there. I mean, it seems that in the double draft, when you're at if you get dropped off the back, that's it, you're gone, which is fair. But trying to get a breakaway is just too hard. The increased pack speed just brings it back so fast.
Definitely. All right, so now we are seeing a couple of attacks here. We are seeing Weil now up toward the front here. G. Lisa. Now, this is a rider I'm not super familiar with. Been jumping into Zwift racing, it looks like, more recently, this specifically this season, it seems like. But Greg Lisa, 4 races in, 8th place overall currently. No podiums yet, but are you familiar with this new rider? I mean, a Tron bike, though, on Greg Lisa here. Perhaps maybe just not involved in the races that I've been doing commentary on back in some of the back in the day. I'm seeing 4 pages of Zwift Power all the way back to August August of 2017, actually, as a B rider. Looks like, actually, no, racing A races even back then, back on October of last year. So, but it looks like mainly early races. So most likely why. So are you familiar with Greg Lisa? Because he's been really involved with a lot of attacks recently in some of these races.
Yeah, I don't remember racing him before. I just looked up his Zwift power as well. He's 340,000 XP points, so he's been around a while. He's done plenty of races, but maybe coming out of the US, maybe some of our times clash and we don't get to race together. But yeah, he's certainly been busy lately. So maybe it's a winter comeback for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing him a part of some of the. It's all morning grind Fondo, though. It's the time of day that we don't usually have Kiss at base training, Tour de Cure Australia, which is always the late morning or early morning times. So yeah, definitely a rider who takes advantage of the mornings. Actually, out of the USA, it looks like here, probably East Coast rider as we're seeing now. A couple of attacks here taking place up toward the front end of the race. It looks like Gardner actually on the attack from Draft, trying to take up the initial attack into the final stretch. Now, this does go downhill for just a moment and then kicks right back into the final gradient now. And it is a little bit of a gap of 1 second here. Cuba trying to follow it up. He is the 4th place overall rider in the series right now. G. Lisa right behind him. Buckles there as well. The DBR WKG, it looks like here, the Danish team now trying to come on through, it looks like now. And it is starting to cause a little bit of mayhem toward the back here. It might cause a little bit of a split. We are seeing Tim Ferrer here. Farrell one, I believe that's how we're saying it. And Komet's there. It looks like 1 second back to Weil. Weil just barely hanging on. It looks like Barrett did get dropped off there with Type in there from Get Set here. Just on the wheel now. So it looks like it's not going to go much of anywhere unless we get a couple more attacks. It's kind of that point, Kim, where the riders are stringing out. And if they do stop pedaling, though, it could be gone pretty quickly. A lot of this is a dangerous position to be in if people do stop pedaling, I would think.
Yeah, I just checked the event description as well, and the double draft is turned on for this race. So you don't want to be stuck at the back of that pack when they're they're heading into a downhill. Someone's pulling on the front. You can easily get dropped off the back, and then it's lights out. You're no way getting back on when you're off the back on a downhill. So some of these guys maybe need to move up the pack a little bit. Put their face in the wind and just put themselves out of danger, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think, now racing this course, this is old school, Kim. I mean, this is one of the most familiar courses, I think, to all of us beta, testers. Was this was actually it was the forward before we could even turn around. We couldn't even turn around, and there were no events or anything. And then when we could turn around, and there were still no events, we started doing them backwards, so we didn't have to deal with everybody on the forwards. And I think this was one of the most used courses that is out on Zwift here. Really, really familiar. Hit it twice up and over the top here. It's really the third and the fourth one that I think, people, you can go 5 minutes all out, 4 minutes all out twice here, but I think we might start to see a couple of riders who might get tired here. But Gardner a 10 off the front, again, attacking off the front. Actually, no, Gravdal it is. And this is a rider you want to let go, I would think. 6.7 watts per kilogram. If he gets away, he can have a pretty consistent TT, I would think.
Yeah, and they've got Matt Gardner back in the pack there as well, so he's not going to be doing too much work on the front. But yeah, I mean, I think you said about the courses, we're spoilt a bit now with all the choice. But it's nice to come back to some of these old school courses, and they race so well. This course forward and backwards, and even Richmond. It's nice to visit that occasionally and just do some crazy racing on those old school courses.
Yeah, I'd agree 100%. I mean, I really enjoy the old school courses. They definitely, we've raced them so many times that it did kind of get a little bit old hat, but there is a reality of the new courses are really cool. They all bring their own little flair, and I think that these ones specifically have a lot to bring to the world of racing. It's just they got over raced for a lot of time, a long, long time. But this is definitely one of the hardest courses. I mean, as far as hardest courses out there, I would think this, along with Richmond Worlds course, is another one that's extremely, extremely difficult. Anything else out there that comes to mind? I think this course, along with that, is kind of the, and then as well as the volcano crit course. I mean, because it just never stops.
Yeah, I agree totally with those. I mean, I think Watopia Forward for me is still, one of the toughest courses. UCI, Richmond, definitely the hardest course out there. Those three, kicking hills straight after each other just grind you down. So 2 or 3 laps of that, you haven't got much left at the finish line. But the new courses are,
Kim, Watopia Forward is just, I mean, the 4 minutes with the undulation, you can still find a wheel on this one.
Yeah,
Watopia Forward, there's no wheel. It's just straight up for 2 minutes. Everything, 1.5 even. I mean, it's just everything you got, and then you just hang on for dear life on the downhill.
Yeah, and then you got the S's at the end. Even though there's no steep gradients there, but it still saps the energy out of you the first time you hit that little climb into the S's. That's always a killer.
Definitely, yeah. That's and then if you do get a gap there, and then it's a bunch of punchers, and people can keep the speed. That's always something to be watching out for, and it definitely puts people in a hurt locker. So Watopia Forward, one of the first of all times, is definitely one of the best race courses. No breakaway legs. Joan is letting us know he's actually typing. Obviously, he's got breakaway fingers right now. Is this Kim Little, Jerry Freeman saying? And if so, that guy's an absolute beast. This is Kim Little. I have met Kim Little in real life as well, and I've even got pictures to prove it. So we were hanging out over in London for a while when we were there for some real life racing with CVR back in the day. Jeb Tobel, one of the strong riders there from ECT, the ECT team, actually says lighter rider has an advantage if you compare real life and sprints. 57 kilogram rider would never beat a guy like me, 92 kilograms, in a high speed sprint. 700 watts versus 1200 watts the last 20 seconds. The raw wires would win, but it's a game, and I can live with that. Totally get that, Jep. And there might be ways to. I wonder if the physics and some of the ways that things might change in the future, that might reward things differently. We'll have to wait and see. If anything does happen with that. But we do see an attack now off the front just a little bit as they come through the sprint here. Gravdal going with, it looks like, rider out of China. We're just going to call Decimal Point. Decimal tried to go here, and at 166.65 beats per minute, now backing off just a little bit. Gravdal controlling the front end of this race, it looks like. And as we're going into the third climb, we're only 27 minutes in. Usually about, I believe, a 45-minute race or so, I think is what we're going to be looking at here, Kim.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, it's not a long course, but it's that's long enough for a race for me.
Speaking of that, do you enjoy this? I mean, what brings you back? Race in and race out. What do you really enjoy about the racing out on Zwift? I mean, because you're racing almost every single day. Is it the shorter, almost like cyclocross feel to it? I mean, for me, cyclocross races were always so much fun because it's like really short. You just go out there and you hammer, and it's crazy the whole time, and then it's over, and it's like, wow, that was amazing, and you got a big rush out of it, and it's not this like 2-3 hour torture event.
Yeah, so I don't know if I've actually ever done a cyclocross race, but I ride mountain bike, so for me it's that similarity to being like a short course mountain bike race, just flat out the gate, just non-stop, a few little rests here and there, but then punching up the climbs. It's that's what keeps bringing me back, that kind of style racing. I really enjoy it, and racing different guys from all over the world is just, it's unreal the way you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Zwift is amazing that you can race everybody all over the world here. And I want to take a quick little look here. Speaking of everybody from all over the world here in the race right now, we are 22, almost 23K in. They've averaged 4 watts per kilogram. I kind of feel like this is a little bit calmer situation here in this race, Kim. Some of the riders may be really thinking about the points and saving things up for the big attacks in these final 2 climbs. And also the reality of, like, the climb is the only place that things are most likely going to happen. Every race, every lap, it seems like the riders are kind of just chilling out and waiting rather than these continual attacks over and over again that we've seen maybe out on the New York course, which has a lot more rolling hills and things like that. So, I mean, it seems like this course tends toward big explosions and chill.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing. If I was in this race now, I'd be, sat in the middle of the pack, trying to regain a bit of energy, thinking about that climb coming up, and then maybe trying to hit that hard at the bottom of the climb, get a small gap, maybe shed off some of the guys off the back, and then try and recover for the sprint at the finish.
Tactically, I've noticed Team Experimental kind of quiet. You and Mike Davis out there recently. I think you, Mike Davis, who am I missing? I mean, there's one or two others out there, but a little bit quieter on the tactics there. Soren Bay's been out there with you as well. Yep, Danish national champion.
Yeah.
Obviously, a big national champion, team there with having you and Soren on the team. It's a lot of firepower, but what? You guys have been kind of isolated lately.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, these guys from draft have kind of taken the wind out of our sails a little bit. Taking some of our thunder. So we need to maybe regroup and think of a new plan. A bit like you said, the Avengers. We need to regroup.
We need to regroup because Team Experimental has disintegrated half of their team just the same way that we saw in the Infinity War. And so what just happened to Lionel? I'm not sure. Lionel said something about not going to be able to make it to the finish line or something. Maybe yesterday's Zwift event was just insane, and there is nothing left in the tank there for Lionel, as James Joseph Barnes is asking. The attacks are on, that's for sure, here in the race here. James Joseph Barnes, thanks for tuning in here. We'll talk about the true draft in a moment here, CMD. Thanks a lot for the question there. But Martin is here. What has Kim done? Was he hit by a speedboat? Yep. A running speedboat called Kim Little tumbled down a hill in a duathlon, from what I'm told here. So poor Kim tried doing something off the bike. I have no idea why he's running. Who wants to do that? Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. But I mean, I might actually start running. I just need a pod, and I'd actually run at the gym just for fun to get the levels and get the cool swag in Zwift actually. But why don't you give us another recap, Kim, of what you did before we get into the final lap and a half here?
Yeah, so I think the lesson to learn is running is bad, but running on Zwift is good. So get out and buy those foot pods, everyone. Get onto Zwift running. But yeah, I was in a duathlon. All was going good. First run good, bike was good, and then the final run about 1 mile from the finish. It was a trail run, so I slipped on I think it was clay, and just landed on my outstretched arm. So oof. I still won the race though, so it wasn't. I was
going to ask, were you winning? And you won the race still. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. One of my second worst injury on the bike, I think it was. Leading the race, and I was taking over lap traffic. I'm on the mountain bike, and people wouldn't get out of the way, and I just barely clipped trying to pass, and a pass I shouldn't have been trying to pass. I had such a lead. It was like a minute and a half probably, and I don't know why I was taking huge risks. I was just in a mode. You get in the mode when you're leading that it's just like you're being chased. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. And just clipped it, and the handlebars went right here. I have a scar still right here, man, because it was like one of those where I was doing probably 20 on the mountain bike, and all that went right into. I mean, probably almost it could have punctured my lung probably if I wasn't like, I don't know, dynamic enough in my movements, man. But I sat there for like a minute and a half, got caught by second place. They went flying by, and I got back on the bike, got super determined, and still caught them right before the line for a sprint finish. Actually, that was so proud. Story time's over. Super proud moment for Nathan Garrett in that one. Corey was not happy that I caught him either.
It's amazing, like you say, what the adrenaline can do when you're in the middle of a situation like that. It takes over, and you just block out any kind of pain and keep on cranking.
I definitely was screaming on the ground though. Like I think people thought I was going to die when because I was like screaming in pain, and people I think thought I was going to die. Everyone's like, "Are we watching a race here? Or are we just talking about your guys' cool wins in real life? Like what is going on here?" Lots of crazy run when you can ride. Martin is saying. And how no Zwift running for Kim. We're hearing from CMD. Come on, Jeffrey Creel from Wendy May is here. The super fan is in the house. Good to see Wendy May having up in the house. With rowing added, it could be a weird triathlon even. I'm liking that idea, Mikal. That's a great idea here. Zwift duathlon races would make my day. I think they may be coming. I would keep your ears and eyes open. And CMD's asking for Kim, have you raced professionally? Kim. Now, the Marina Factory team is an elite team, correct?
Well, yeah, we're the factory team for the UK. We're not we don't race in the elite category because we're old guys, so we race in the Masters and Veterans categories. So occasionally pop into an elite race and get shown how to do it by some of the youngsters. But yeah, we're just trying to hold our own within the age groups, really.
Gotcha. Right on. Right on. So that's where Kim's racing at. Obviously, plenty strong though out on Zwift, making plenty. How many live events have you made, Kim? Lots of them. I think it's got to be five
or six, I think, maybe.
Five or six live events qualified for. Pretty amazing here, all over the world through Zwift racing. So thanks a lot for all of the questions and comments. We're heading into the final lap here. Quick little chat though, as CMD was asking earlier, before we do get into the attacks here, as they are going to be coming here most likely. Thoughts? We were talking about the double draft or the true draft. Both me and Kim are on the fence. It depends on the course, right, Kim? I mean, the course really is going to make things different, as well as we think that slowing down the pack and its speed that it gains in Zwift would most likely make things a little bit better with double draft. The double draft would be awesome if the pack didn't travel quite as fast.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that it's so close to being spot on. If they just maybe just tweak that group speed, so it doesn't bring back the breakaways quite so fast, to give at least the riders who are trying to get away a little bit of a chance, and then it's going to be there. I think so. Hopefully, within the new year, they'll get that dialed, and we can look forward to some really exciting racing.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see how that turns out. It's going to be some work, though, from Zwift, I would think, to make that happen, as it sounds like tweaking the in-game algorithms is not an easy job, and things can quickly get all over the place with the equations, actually. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. Now, Type-In here was off the front there momentarily. Got caught very quickly. Kerbal now chasing it down. It looks like ODZ was involved there as well with a Wild. Now, Wild does not have ODZ in the name. I didn't realize he was actually riding for them, as he does have their kit on, it looks like. But the American here going off the front, 165 beats per minute. Not familiar with this rider. I'll check him out over on Zwift Power and see what kind of results that he's had in the past here. Alex Wild does have a verification badge next to his name. He's averaged 4.2 watts per kilogram for the duration of the race out here today. Level 25, Zada approved, it looks like, and he's got a rank, looks like 344, 465th place overall in his points, it looks like, for his rank 71 races out on Zwift. And he's been racing out on Zwift, it looks like, for 2 pages, it looks like, so back, well, looks like he jumps on only mainly in the winters, though, as he goes all the way back to 2016, actually. So a rider who's definitely familiar with racing, but not racing quite as much as some of these others. Alex Weil is who's out here. Lions here now countering, most likely. ODZ does use Discord a lot. They are one of the first teams to be using Discord. A lot of gamers on that team as well. And they show up a lot of times for these early morning races and put on their own events, actually. If you haven't checked out an ODZ event, they're very cool. And Ryan Lyons here with the counter here, as Weil was trying to make something happen right along with them. Gets covered very quickly, it looks like, by XXXIC, as we need to not everybody avert your eyes with the triple X here. But G. Lisa here, 2.3 watts per kilogram off the front, a little bit. Greg trying to make something happen. Buckle from Dirt there as well. Dirt here, newer team. What are you thinking, Kim? Cool team, it seems like, putting things together and everything. I haven't seen some big results from them yet. Mostly B riders, it seems like, but they're definitely involved here where I haven't seen them involved before. Have you seen any big results from them recently at all, Kim?
Like you said, not in the A category, but they seem to be pretty dominant in the B category. They've got good strength in numbers, so I guess they communicate and they can formulate a plan before the race and try and dominate through strength in numbers. So it's a great tactic and it can work very well. But I like the initiative. It's dads inside riding trainers, so I guess these guys are a lot of stay-at-home dads, and they can ride while keeping an eye on the kid. It's awesome.
I maybe stay-at-home dads. Maybe it's nighttime and morning. I mean, this is a pretty early broadcast here for the American, and I think it's a lot of U.S. or American riders, actually, North American riders. So, they are just showing up on the scene, though. From what I can tell, as far as getting their name out there, maybe they've been around longer than I think here, but I've really just gotten them on the radar this Zwift season here. It's really cool to see them taking the initiative. And dads, indoors riding trainers, it looks like, can get pretty motivated and pretty organized about their Zwift racing. I mean, there is a reality of like, well, if we're stuck in the house, when we can still get our sport on, this is awesome. And they make a whole team just based on the reality of like, we're dads, we're busy, but we can still get our sport on in this world of Zwift.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, like you said, these guys are at home, and you know, but beforehand they probably didn't have the opportunity to get out and ride their bikes. You know, maybe that they had that conversation with the wife. You know, who's going to look after the kid? But now, you know, they don't need to make that excuse. They can jump on and race and ride whenever they need to.
For sure. Now the attacks are pretty intense here, and this is the gap. 2 seconds on a downhill. We've got big hitters. Lindsay's going along with this. Wiles there. Lyons is now slowing things down at the front. He's not going to make the chase. 4.5 watts per kilogram. Glavik now knowing that this is a real attack. 8.3 on the front now. Lyons now just covering it, looks like. He's going to bring the rest of the pack with him, though. Maybe not the best move there from the ODZ team member if he wants his other team member to get away here. But there is a gap here. Kamet's now closing it down. This is a threat because if they have firepower left when they hit the bottom of this climb and that gap is there, they are going to be in a world of hurt. Now, Gardner now is trusting. Gravdo is trusting as well, it looks like here. They are using each other with that draft to just pull this back in together, and that trust might be paying off for them because we might see them come right on through. But if they don't grab on before the bottom here, they might have wasted a lot of energy. But no, it looks like it is going to come back together, and they are working their way directly to the front, and they're going to be able to use those wheels to work their way to the front, and it will be fairly well-reserved amount of energy here for Gardner and Gravdo. And I think Gravdo, with that extra energy, might be the threat here up and over the top of the climb. Is Messinio is not out here, is he? Leandro, is he in the race? I'm looking through, and I haven't seen him throughout here. And no, it's Draft is just putting all their chips on Gravdo and Gardner out here today. But Lindsay here on the attack looks like Innovation showing up 7.4 watts per kilogram, as you can see, making his way to the front. But ODZ wants this one today. Weil is still on the front. Typing going. Here comes a TFC rider, it looks like. Is that actually a TFC rider on the front here? Zhao wearing, or is that the old school TFC? No, it's a CRCA kit, so it's the old school TFC kit, actually. So my mistake. Zhao here, you trying to get away, not able to do so. 8 watts per kilogram. G. Lisa quickly closes that down. Lindsay's there as well, out of New Zealand, following it right on up. Now, he was involved pretty well with some attacks in that GCN race actually yesterday, so he might not have the legs to come on through. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe just some openers, though, as it was pretty calm with just a couple of kicks there through that race. Gardner able to follow up. Creel here falling off the back a little bit. He's going to have to hang on. It's mainly a sprint finish for Creel that he actually won his ticket to London, I believe it was. Yeah, to London on this specific course in a sprint for the final, for one of the CVR races, actually, for the live finals, actually. So Creel here, watch out for him. He is familiar with this course and how to play it, when to make the sprint happen. I'd be watching out for him for a W in the sprint if he's able to hang on. Now, do you got any favors out here? Without Leandro in there, without Lionel out there today, Lindsay on the front here with the 3-second gap. You think this is going to stick? I haven't raced Lindsay much. I haven't watched a whole lot of him and commentated much here, Kim. 5 seconds is a big gap at 6.4. Not a lot of landscape left.
Yeah, so I've only become aware of Lindsay recently, and he in fact doesn't live far from me now. He's moved over to the UK, and he lives quite close, so I've seen his name popping up on some local Strava comms, so my ears pricked up when I saw that. So he's the real deal for sure. So yeah, this is a smart move. He can get, he's 7 seconds up now. But this will be a good example of how the double draft can work. So when these guys come into the descent, if they work together and do some short pulls in the front, this gap can come back very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes.
64 kilograms, 184 beats per minute is what he's pushing out right now, and he is at 395, 6.2 watts per kilogram, 7 seconds here. The downhill is going to be the bane here of this attack, I think. If he does not continue on with this gap, it's going to be all about this final kick, and he's going to have to kick into some serious 7 to 8 watts per kilogram and then have continuance over the top. G. Lisa closing things down, 6.1, and this negative gradient is not going to do Lindsay any favors right now. It's coming over the top is going to be all about carrying huge amounts of speed. lead. 10 seconds can be held onto, but this pack, if it's motivated, will quickly close it down. But they might start just looking at each other. 10 to 15 seconds, that's the definitely danger point for this group. And Glavek's no interest, it looks like, to really make a pull here. We're seeing attack here now from our Sea Rider, who's not actually involved whatsoever. Lindsay still way over what the pack is doing in their watts per kilogram. He may be able to pull this off here. It's out to 7 seconds now. He's going to start this descent. It's going to go out just a little bit more. Is he going to hold on, chat? Let us know what you think. This is absolutely nail-biting here for Lindsay. Will he be able to hang on? 7 seconds. I think it might be coming back here. Draft is on the front. They're trying to pull things back together. And it looks like now 1.6 watts per kilogram. It looks like they're just going to trust the double draft. But no, it looks like Triple X is on the front. 185. 8 seconds still. Lindsay here. 61 kilometers per hour. Chat, who is going to win? Will Lindsay hold on to this gap? Let us know what you think. Wendy May Abbott saying go Jeff. The winner will be Zhao Yu. It's Lindsay's racer instincts writing checks. What's his legs? Can't cash. Luke Potter is saying, I'm absolutely loving. You should be on the commentary with me here, Luke Potter. That is one of the best comments of all time. 3 seconds and the check is gonna bounce. You cannot cash that one. As Lindsay is caught, there's gonna be no sprint left over. KOM's local to Kim Little do not count out on the Watopia reverse, and it looks like Buckle here from Dirt's going to be leading things out here. Kirbo is there now, and it looks like Creel, 4.4, in the perfect position for Vision to take this one down today. Gardner setting up from Drafto as well. It's starting to ramp up, and Zhao Yu now starting to go, it looks like. Then we've got the decimal point, though, up toward the front. No, Zhao Yu now starting to go. Is he going to go early? No, the lead out. Where is it? The first one to jump may not be the first one to win. If they leave it too late, though, it could be the first one to jump. Gravdo now kicks, though. It looks like it's going to be Licorice. I like to call him Licorice because I have no clue how to pronounce that one. 18 watts per kilogram, though. Zhao Yu. And now Kemet's here from Team Type 1, but no, Zhao Yu, it looks like it's going to be. Team Type 1 was right there with Kemet's there. Not sure if there is a Zwift power Zada verification, though, for Zhao Yu. We'll have to wait and see, as it looks like it was pretty close there between the two Chinese riders, actually. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the replay as we see the ramp up here, as the Canadian rider is coming right on through. Barry Licorice says, I should not call him Licorice. I apologize. I just cannot pronounce that name. That I'm not even going to give it a shot. But now, as you can see, it is Zhao Yu. Kicks into 17 watts per kilogram. I'm not sure he's got verification for those kinds of wattages here. Then it was Ferron that was right on his wheel, it looks like here. Ramping it right on up, and he's going to make the lead out here. Team Type 1 almost came through. Now look at how far back Team Type 1 was, and the perfect timing on the sprint. Jeffrey Creel up in the 15 watts per kilogram, but Kametz come flying through from about mid-pack in the 14 watts per kilogram, almost takes down the W, as you can see here. But no, the two Chinese riders almost able to go 1-2, but no, Kametz comes on through, takes down that second place, and it looks like one more maybe snipped it at the line there. I believe, though, it is most definitely going to be up to Zwift Power's final results that we're going to take a look at here in just a second, as I believe there will most likely be some relegations in the results. As soon as they do come up here, we are just waiting for official. No, Zhao Yu does have Zada verification, so it looks like Zhao Yu does take it down with that 4.6 watts per kilogram up into 14 watts per kilogram for 15 seconds. It's absolutely insane. We might need to double check on that, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now. Brett Kametz here for Team Type 1 takes down second place. Chinese characters followed by Chinese characters. That's the top four, actually. Wow. Absolutely killing it there. Jeffrey Keel comes through for fifth place. Then it will be Matt Kirby coming through next there. So solid results there for all of the riders. We'll see if I can bring in some of the results here as we are looking through from the web browser here for all of you to see exactly what we're talking about. Let's go ahead and see some of the comments while we wait for the results to populate there. Winner pays don't after party at the volcano, guys. Winner pays in donuts. Looks like Jones looking for some more. Do you guys do a lot of after parties, Kim? Do you guys all like communicate a whole bunch and like go and like ride afterwards or what?
I don't usually, but I know these guys are keen on their donuts, so I think they kind of get together and, you know, have a few donuts, and yeah, cool down, I guess.
Gotcha. Jumping gears, unfortunately, we're hearing from Jeffrey Creel. Sorry to hear that, Jeff. I was wondering, you had the wattage, but then it dropped pretty quickly there. So sorry to hear, Jeff. Good race, though, on the day. Not bad at all. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the official results as they do come through over at zwiftpower.com. And it looks like we got the top 10, a little boys out from the top 10 actually, to show. And it looks like it will then be Zhao Yu, followed up by Brent Kamitz. We've got a couple more Chinese characters there. I wish I pronounced those names. Cannot do for you. But Jeffrey, nice job there. 5th place. Matt Kirby there, followed by Birders. Turksmo was one we didn't actually talk about a lot. Birders is always one to watch out for in the sprint there, Kim. What'd you think?
Yeah, Turksmo. I didn't see him in the race either, but yeah, in the sprint he's always dangerous. I just wanted to show you as well, Nathan. There's a new feature in Zwift Power. I'm not sure if you've seen it, called Punch. So it's quite a good indication of how well a rider is likely to do in a sprint. So it's quite, if you can brush up on some of the vision beforehand, it gives you a good idea of who you're going to be racing against.
What's the location of Punch? Where's it's actually is it in their
click
file?
Click on the rider profile and you get some stats on their phenotype. So uphill sprinter, short climber, medium climber, long climber, etc. Then on the right hand side, above their list of race results, top right hand side, there's a little a blue bar for Punch. Yeah, keep going to the right. Scroll to the right. Keep going.
Oh, I see. 83.4% there for Punch. And what does that represent?
Yeah, so I'm not totally sure because it's some kind of James Hodges magic there, but it's I think it's a relationship between how much you sit in during the race and how aggressively you sprint. So a rider with a higher punch is likely to maybe sit in the pack, maybe not do too much pulling on the front, but they've got a real takedown sprint at the finish. So those are the guys you need to watch for. So I saw Zhao, who just won the race, had a punch of 96%.
96%.
So, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Absolutely insane. So definitely watch out for that. Watch out for that. I'm getting some questions. Bergen, I believe I will be if I don't fall asleep. We will schedule the broadcast as soon as we are sure we will not fall asleep. I should be live. I'm actually for real about that. If I can stay awake long enough, we will make it happen here. And it is most likely 90% sure unless something else comes up. But yeah, I appreciate the question there. We are going to be on for that. It is in the plans. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Kim, thanks a lot for coming on. We need to have you on more often when you got time. Maybe get some live racing too. That'd be pretty cool. Once you are ready to race again. But I mean, now we got a commentator since he's injured. So
yeah, more than happy to join in, Nathan, as much as possible.
All right, so Kim Little, UK National Zwift Champion, tuning in with us. Appreciate his time for sure. Kim, cheers. Thanks for jumping into the broadcast.
Thanks, Nathan.
No worries. And that's going to be it for me as well. Nathan Garrett here from Zwift Community Live. We'll be live in a few hours here with the SCR series as well. Make sure to tune in for that. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit those follow buttons everywhere that we do go live. We're live over on YouTube, Twitch, as well as Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter as well and shoot us media. Anytime you are on Twitter, we will bring that into the broadcast. If you do hit those follow buttons, make sure to turn on notifications so that you do get notifications given to your mobile device as well, or your email, or wherever you would like them to be pushed to. It's something you can set up in where you push the follow button. So cheers, everybody. Thanks a lot for hanging out. And as always, a big old ride on.